What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. As you can tell, we have the JK in the shop, we have Cassie's LJ in the shop. I am back from Texas and we have a new set of tires up here. So clearly in this video, we're gonna be talking about tires. We have 5 here to install on the JK. Now, these are not just standard tires. They do look very similar to the ones that are on Cassie's Jeep. However, these are a Sticky Offroad tire. These are the new Atturo green label tires, and we're gonna talk all about sticky tires in this video. And then we're gonna go test them out and see how much better these tires can perform off-road, you know, being sticky. How much are we gonna gain? Are they gonna be worth it? We have a lot to find out in this video, and we also have a ton of work to do, because that means it's time to break down some bead locks as well. So let's go ahead, first things first, check out this tire and talk about what is sticky about it. Over the past few months, I've really been thinking about the direction of the JK build. You guys know we've done a ton of projects on it, the Hemi swap, the 1-ton swap, 40s, long arms, the list goes on. However, I think it's time to kind of add something new and go in a little bit different of a direction, and that is with these new Sticky Offroad tires. So these are the new Atturo TrailBlade Boss green label tires. For those of you that are unaware of what Stickies are, very simply put, the rubber compound is softer and stickier, which is going to help us tremendously off-road in rocks. So there are a few downsides to it. With the rubber being softer, naturally it's gonna wear a lot faster. So typically people think of Stickies or off-road tires only for vehicles that only go off-road. They don't see street time. And in a lot of cases, that's completely true. But hopefully over the next few months, we're gonna see how well these tires can wear on a rig that mostly sees off-road, but does drive to the trails. Luckily, I don't really daily drive this anymore. The only time I'm hopping in the JK is if I need to, or if I'm driving to go wheeling. But switching up to a set of sticky tires is gonna be phenomenal in regards to an upgrade, like when it comes to off-road. I said that weird, upgrade. But these are gonna help us off-road, but I kinda wanna see if that stigma about having sticky tires on a street-driven rig is a bad idea, or can it be a good idea? And we're gonna find out. First things first, let's grab the durometer and show you guys what I mean by sticky tires. Luckily, we have a handy durometer right here. What this is gonna do is kind of give us a readout on how hard or soft the rubber compound is. The higher the number, the harder the tire. The lower the number, the softer the tire. So we're gonna start off for a baseline over here on the Yokohamas, as you can tell. So it starts off higher, then it'll slowly drop. But we'll call that right around 13. Now, for example, we're gonna compare that over here to our new green label Sticky. So we start off around 9 and it dropped to about 5. Let's do another one just to make sure. Yeah, so we'll call that like 5 or 6. So right off the bat, you can tell that number is a lot lower, which means the rubber is a lot softer of a compound. Now, to put that in perspective, we are gonna test it on the exact same tread pattern tire. Both of these are the Atturo TrailBlade Boss, but these are the DOT version, the standard version of the tire. So, as you can tell, that's right around the same as the Yokohama, maybe 12, 13 on the durometer scale. So for a DOT tire, that's pretty standard to have that, you know, that rubber compound be a little bit harder. That way it lasts longer on the road. Whereas the Sticky is a lot softer, giving us more grip off-road, but unfortunately it's just not gonna last as long. Now we do have one more tire over here. I think this is a, you know, it's a BF Goodrich all-terrain, and we'll go ahead and just see what an all-terrain is gonna read at. Same thing, right around 13. So as you can tell, at some point, it doesn't matter what the tread pattern is or the brand, most DOT tires are gonna have pretty much the same compound hardness. Now there are exceptions, and there's a lot that goes into it, but they're generally all in that same range. But that is enough talking. We're gonna cover a few more details once we get these mounted on the Jeep and we're out there on the trails, which means it is time to go ahead and back the Jeeps out of here. We're gonna turn this into a little mini tire shop. Mike is on the way over to lend a helping hand, because changing all of these bead locks by yourself is not fun. So put the camera down and let's get this project started.
Going forward. Right there, hold on.
We tried.
Time to take it to a pro.
Yep.
So at this point, Mike's over here. We've been battling these tires for probably, what, an hour and a half now, trying every trick in the book, especially the ones I've used before on trying to get the bead lock actually unseated from the bead. You know, we tried the high lift. We just tried driving over in the LJ. Mike had a good idea.
What they tend to do is you'll set the tire down on the rim, the bead that you're trying to brake on the top, and basically put a weighted vehicle on your lift and use the V-notch of your lift to actually compress and pop the bead. But
yeah,
you know, by the time we're done, I think it's going to be 2 hours, 3 hours of trying to just unseat these beads.
Yep.
And it'd be $5 at the store.
It sounded like a good idea because like you could think if you just put the tire down there and arrange these to push down on the bead, but with this setup, as you can tell, it's way too far.
And
by the time
it's too high.
It's too high. So by the time we'd need it low enough to pop the bead, the Jeep would be sitting on the axle. So
the answer to this whole thing is we need a tire change machine.
Yeah.
If any of you guys have one laying around, we'll take it.
Well, okay, there's that. So we're gonna run into town and see if we can get 440s, at least just the bead broke. Our local tire shop right down the road actually let us use the tire machine to break the bead locks free. So these things were not coming out without actually the hydraulic arm to push it in. So all 4 are broken. Mike's in there getting ready to actually remove the tire from the wheel. Taking it to a shop definitely beats spending all that time trying to do that. So I'm gonna set the camera down and get this one off. Turn it a little bit.
This is going to take forever. Ever and ever and ever.
Boom!
High five. Are you a pro now?
No.
Well, we'll get you there. Crazy how a fresh set of tires really changed the whole look of the rig. So last night finished up all 4 tires and this morning got them all mounted, and keep in mind they're not balanced, but the Jeep's ready to roll. So I know a few of you guys are gonna wanna know some more specs about the tire, and I'll link all their information in the video description. But for those of you who are curious, these measured out unmounted at 39 inches. Now, once we have them mounted and under the weight of the Jeep, they're measuring out to be 38. So, you know, it's kind of the case with a lot of 40s and kind of all across the tire industry. Sure, there's some that measure exactly to spec, and, you know, there's a lot of others that don't. But, you know, a 38 fully under the 1 tons in Hemi, that's still pretty close to what I was before with the 40. So we didn't go down any smaller, but we didn't really go any bigger. One thing I will point out is the weight. So these, just the tires themselves, the 40-inch green labels weigh 110 pounds. Now, keep in mind, my old tires weighed about 90 per tire. So we're going up 20 pounds in weight. In my case, I think with the Hemi, we're not gonna notice, but that is something to keep in mind, at least for street driving this thing. Having that heavier weight off-road might help us. We are gonna see. First things first, let's take this for a real quick road test to make sure she is safe to go wheeling tomorrow. I can definitely tell there is a weight difference, but it's not horrible. Been driving for about 5 miles now, and you know, coming from a complete stop up to a 60, you can feel the extra weight in the tires, but when you're just kind of coasting along, the weight definitely counteracts and adds to the rolling, you know, kind of the momentum behind the Jeep. But the tires aren't too loud. I mean, this is not a quiet Jeep by any means. Soft top, 40s, the Hemi, everything's loud on it, but the tires are not too loud. Granted, we're only going 50 miles an hour, so we're gonna speed it up, get on the highway, and see what she does about 80. And we're cruising. It's not shaking, 0 vibrations. I mean, I wouldn't say 0 vibrations. There's a lot of vibrations going on right now, but nothing tire related. So I think we're safe to drive these on the road. We do have to be careful. You know, we're not gonna be running 100 on these, but the road manners are not bad at all. So crossbar, here we come. And we are out here at Crossbar. We have Mike and another Ben. Ben's an old buddy from the Coast Guard. He's recently got a JK too. Yep. We're gonna have to bring it out here next time. But the goal for this trip is to test out the sticky tires. Now driving them here, no issues at all. Did really good. And we are gonna tackle this first line right here. So this is screen door. I've done it before on the channel. The last setup, it did struggle. I had to spin a lot of tires and really give it throttle. I'm curious to see how the Stickies are gonna help us on this. Hopefully we'll be able to crawl up it.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
And we're not touching rocks.
No, no stacking rocks.
No
We don't do that around
we
here.
don't stack rocks around here. The big step ledge is right here. It's about a 4 foot. Looks like a bunch of people have stacked rocks all over the place. So we'll see what he does. Right up, right up.
I might back down. You want to get a shot from the bottom side to show how steep it is?
Yeah.
Do that.
So we just went up it once and it crawled it.
Yeah.
Without any issue. Now, granted, the last couple times we were here, it was a little bit wet, but I've never felt the tires grip like that before. But so far, they hook amazing. Mike's gonna film from the bottom here, so it actually shows the adjustments.
Stay on that, stay straight right there. Right there, right there. Good job. You should have the rest all the way up. There you go. Yep.
Well, we made it up screen door pretty easily. I do think we need to air down maybe a little bit more, but we're gonna go test these out in the water. What are they gonna do when the rocks get wet? We are going to check out the waterfalls and hopefully these things hook.
Right there. You're on it. Touching bumper. Yep. You're on it. Yep. Oh man, you're cheating, dude.
They are barely,
God,
they are barely sticky.
God, you're cheating. So it's a sheer wet face. This is crazy. That is nuts, man. Just right up it, dude. He's officially cheating now. That's pretty nuts. They are definitely a sticky tire.
Oh, so Mike thinks I'm cheating now, which is fair because the tires do grip exceptionally well. Now, last time we were here, this is rock face. We tried that center line. You know, once again, it's not as wet. Last time we had a little bit of a waterfall coming down here and the rock itself, which is holding a lot of moisture. Whereas today, we are gonna go through the water and up. Now, I do have to say, in the Bronco, when we did this in the Bronco on Cassie's channel, she went around, around the water. The tires weren't wet. Mike guided her around the water. We're going through the water. Yeah. Just so all the Bronco people are like, oh, well, the Bronco made it up too. Once your tires touch water, it's a little bit of a game changer.
Wet tires and all, just walked right up it. This is crazy, man. Yeah, slow. Right there, right there. Good deal. God.
Unfortunately, we're gonna have to go home kinda soon, but we have this one last little boulder field up here. We're gonna do a little bit of rock crawling, some slow, controlled, flexy climbs here. You can't really tell because of the grass, but there's some big size boulders through here. And we're gonna go through. Like, the stickiness is amazing. So crawling is great. And then once you need that extra traction, like once you lose traction, you get on the gas, warms them up some, and then it kind of rehooks again. Whereas before, the Hemi had plenty of power to spin the 40s, but they just wouldn't grip, so it would just keep sliding. So these so far definitely seem like a good fit.
All right, so if you guys remember this area, I don't know that we have, we did bring the Gladiator up in here, and it's basically a rock garden that we put together for Ultra 4. So in qualifying, they used to have to come through here, and honestly, Ultra 4 finals, I think 2020, this is one of the main places where they had rollovers. Bike straighten out, yep. a look at what that is. I mean, it is.
It's a lot more impressive with the weeds whacked down. You
Yeah.
can actually see it.
Yeah.
But that's a good climb. And we are back after a beautiful day of wheeling yesterday at Crossbar. We did like 5 rock obstacles to test out the tires, and hopefully you guys were able to see, just as I did off-road, that these things flat out work. It is insane. I'm not here to tell everybody they need Stickies and everybody should go buy Stickies, because that's not the case. But driving a Jeep with Stickies is kind of like cheating, and it makes it so much easier. It just flat out, wheeling with Stickies, I have been missing out. To all of the people that have been wheeling with Stickies, it is way too easy and you've been cheating. No, I'm just kidding. There's still a lot to it, but the tires do help. They are a huge factor when it comes to what you can do off-road. Now, if you are curious about my old tires, the Yokohamas, I did a video on them, so you can definitely go check that out. And they were a great tire. They lasted a long time on road. They had a really aggressive tread pattern to kind of make up for that harder compound, which helped make them last a long time. Overall, definitely a good tire. But if you are curious about, you know, running Stickies on a Jeep, if you mostly go off-road, I say go for it. When it comes to how long are they gonna last, the on-road longevity, I have no idea yet, guys. We've put 150 miles on them, so hopefully in a few months we'll be able to come back and kind of revisit that topic. Now, there is one thing we did not talk about, and that is the legality of running non-DOT approved tires on the road. You've probably bought beadlocks before. You've seen beadlocks where they say not DOT approved for highway use only. Now, the same case applies in regards to sticky off-road tires. A lot of the companies will literally label them on the tires, not DOT approved, not for highway use or for off-road use only, whatever. In our case, the Atturos, they don't have that labeled on there. There's simply no DOT like approval stamp on them. Now, what does that mean for the end user? Really not much. Same with beadlocks. While they aren't DOT approved, that doesn't mean they're illegal to drive on the road. I am not a lawyer. I suggest checking out your state laws, but take a look and see if any of the DOT approvals actually play a role into the legality of like a non-business or company-owned vehicle. Usually it doesn't matter. You're never gonna get pulled, and a cop's not gonna come over and look at the DOT stamp on your tire. That's in my case. I've never had an issue with beadlocks. I've never heard of anybody looking at tire DOT. I know a lot of people do kind of get shied away from that, but from what I've read and what I understand is the DOT approval is more towards the companies that are selling a wheel or a tire to a consumer. If it's gonna be labeled as a street-driven tire, it has to have the DOT approval. So it's more of a legality reason on the business or company side opposed to the end user. So that's what I take from it. You do some research and find out for yourself. But I have never seen a law saying that wheels or tires on a passenger vehicle have to be DOT approved. So take that as you will. But it is also nice that Atturo just doesn't put a DOT label on there. They don't actually put print on the side, not for highway use, you know, because that kind of draws some questions if anybody ever does see it. First impressions, they are phenomenal. They work amazing. I know a lot of you probably wondering, Ben, why didn't you go with like, you know, the Maxxis Trepador Stickies or some Interco Stickies, all that, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of different options right now, but if you guys have been shopping for tires, you should probably already know that there's a ton either on back order or you just can't get them. It was time for new tires. Cassie has been running these on her LJ for a while, the DOT version, and they've done amazing. So I was like, man, what the sticky version, it's just gonna be even better. And it turns out they are. So we're gonna continue testing them, continue crawling with them. We have a lot of stuff to do, but right off the bat, I am extremely impressed. And hopefully, as time goes by, we'll see if they're gonna be a viable option for, you know, a mix of a street-driven rig and a trail rig. But that is it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about tires, go down to the comments, let me know. And of course, stay tuned for the next video. We're gonna hop in, do some stuff on the Gladiator. And we have a really, really cool giveaway paired up with Clayton Off-Road. Doesn't matter if you have a Gladiator, JK, JL, TJ, we're gonna give away a lift kit to you guys. Stay tuned for the next video, guys. I'll see you later.